All right, thank you for joining in on the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. So let's get started by doing a recap on our latest features. And today we're going to introduce one of our bigger features that we introduced this year. And it's really useful in some cases that you will be able to design some form behaviors that you weren't previously able to do so. So the new feature I'm introducing on this webinar is that you can now do link and load to load multiple rows of subtable rows. Okay, so you can do a link and load on any normal linked field and load multiple rows of data into a subtable. Okay, so I'm gonna do a simple demonstration on that. And so I'm gonna use the production management template and use the work order. I made a copy of the work order sheet to demonstrate this. So this is a copy of the work order sheet that I copied from our template. So before this feature is introduced, we do have the bomb explosion feature built inside of this work order sheet. So by bomb explosion, we generally mean that you could choose a bill of material and the system will automatically check the bomb sheet. There's another sheet called bill of materials, and it's gonna know that, oh, this bill of material is with these components. So when you choose the bomb, like P-00008-1, it's gonna load these two components, that the P10 and P9, these two components. On the other hand, if you load this bomb, and it's gonna load these components. And previously on Ragic, this is not really doable without writing server-side JavaScript. And after we introduced the link and load for subtables, and this is now totally doable without writing any code, any server-side JavaScript code. So let's take a look on how to do this. All right. So this is a work order sheet, a copy that I made, and right now these components are loaded from the bill of material, from the assembly directly. So I'm going to remove this link and load set configuration so that I can add in to load the items and the components directly from the bill of material, because the bill of material already have all these components linked and link field set up on that sheet. So I'm gonna go in the assembly sheet and remove this current link and load configuration. All right, so first of all, I remove the existing configuration, because you cannot have two sets of link and loads, conflicting link and loads on the same set of fields. So I remove the existing ones first, and then I can go to the bill of materials sheet, and the sheet right now already have a linked field that we choose a bill of material for this work order. So now what we're gonna do is to load all the components into this exploded bomb or exploded bill of material. So I choose the item number field to be loaded into an item number field here, and the component number to be loaded to component number here, and the component to be loaded to component field. So basically mapping the field, the same corresponding fields from the source field to the destination field. So unit and the quantity, and this is the quantity to consume. All right. So this is basically how we do a link and load when you're loading it to a subtable. It's almost exactly the same as doing any other link and load, where you link a field and load fields to other fields that's related. But before this, you're only able to link a field that's like a non-subtable field and load fields that are a non-subtable field. Or you can link a subtable field and load fields on the same subtable. So now we give you the ability to link a non-subtable field and load multiple rows of subtable fields. All right, so now I save this and let's see how this works in action. So we create a new work order here, and when we choose a bill of material, and we can just choose one here, and it's gonna load all the items under this bill of material. And if you choose another, like a different bill of material, it's gonna override the existing loaded rows and load the different rows. So it's not gonna append like rows, keep on appending different rows to the same subtable, but instead it's gonna load different data into the same subtable, overriding the previous choice on the linked field. Okay, so this is basically how the new link and load into subtable works, and I recommend you to try it out, and you can kind of think of what kind of things that you're currently doing in your Ragic database and see if this kind of behavior will work really well in your scenario. So for our own company, for Ragic, one of the things that we're kind of excited to use this feature for is that we can start building a more automated e-learning sheets for our own team. So you can design a course. Or let's say you can design kind of a competency. So you could say, a competency is that we want a programmer to reach intermediate competency in Java programming. And we can define this kind of competency with a subtable that, in order to achieve this competency in intermediate Java programming, you need to do this and take this course and take this test and do these items. You can describe them in a subtable. So you could describe a competency as a record. And when the employee is like filling out his e-learning journey, he will be able to choose a competency and load all the related courses or requirements for the competency into his journey, so that he knows that, in order to achieve this intermediate Java programming, I'll need to do this, finish these courses and take these tests in order to achieve this. So this is a feature that has a lot of really interesting applications, especially when you're filling out subtables in a very routine way or in a very fixed way, and you want to standardize how these subtable rows are being filled out. And this link and load into a subtable feature could be very useful when designing sheets that have complex subtables and that you need to fill out, you would like the users to fill out in a very specific way. All right. And let's get back to the office hour questions. All right, first question, and no question. Ragic is great, and thank you. Can't wait to see the new developments. So here it is. So thank you. Try out our new link and load into a subtable feature. All right. Thank you. Next question. How do I view all reminders that have been set up across all sheets on Ragic. Yeah, off the top of my mind, I don't think there's a good way to see it. Maybe in the job schedules, reminders. But yeah, I don't think this lists all the reminders. Maybe in the future we could list them here. Let me add a reminder and see if they show up there. Yeah, I'm not like familiar with every single detail of this. So remind test reminder. And the reminder, save. And let's go to the job schedule. Yeah, it doesn't show up here, but I will assume it to be kind of reasonable to see all reminders here. All right. Hello, is it possible to view all reminders have been set up across all sheets on Ragic? It would be really handy to be able to view what reminders have already been set up without having to check every sheet for reminders. That will give an easy review of those reminders that still needs to be in place. Okay. For example, if you have multiple versions of one sheet, it would be an easy way to tell if reminders were being sent out twice, as on multiple versions. And if you had to go back to amend, you would know where to go immediately to amend this. Yeah, thank you for your feedback. I think this could be very useful and should be not too difficult to implement. And for now, I would think that the job schedule sheet would be a good place for this to display. Like we do have a place to configure like the overall day and time of day to display the reminders. So this could be a good place to put all the reminders that you have set up. So thank you for right now. It's true that, yeah, I think it's true. We don't have a global view for all reminders on the sheets. I'm planning on suggesting that we add the global list of reminders on the job schedule page where you configure reminder time for easy access to configured reminders. All right. Yeah, I think this could be very useful, and thank you for your feedback. All right, and that's it for the question for today. So, and thank you for joining in to the Ragic Office Hour. If you have any other questions or suggestions or something you would like to learn about Ragic, feel free to use the Ragic Office Hour question sheet, and I will be answering your questions in 2 weeks. Thank you and goodbye.